closed off there, he'd need to be on speed to be able to win.
Can you forgive him, given the lead up to that race? His race prior, he fell, and then he had nearly 3 weeks off going into that. Obviously, Connections decided he was fit enough to race over the 595 last week. As long as he's taken no ill effects from that, do you think that run home is something that he can definitely improve? I mean, we've seen him run 34.04 prior.
Yeah, all off inside draws, though. That's the question. He's going to need to get, across. He's a quick animal, but he's better suited when he can just grind away on the fence. So the class suits him, and you're right, he had a big gap, but then he's also had a decent gap now between heat and final. So you would imagine they would have given him another tuck-up run. A lot of these runners have had a start, Monday night here as their in-between run between heat and final. So there's a case for him. I just thought off the wide draw in a full field, which we haven't seen very often tonight, I think that's a negative for him.
Sky Racing 1 join us. Nath, you tipped 6 of the first 7 winners here at Sandown. Who do you like in the 8th?
I've gone 6, 5, 8 and 3. I thought Michaela Swift was an eye-catcher, and then she ran a really good race at the Meadows on Saturday night where she led and got run down by Panama Road. So I think she might be able to get forward, and she's a greyhound with plenty of upside and a really strong kennel with Kayla Cottrell. For second, number 5, My Slick Rick. I thought he represented some value. He's a double-figure quote, and he was a good run in the heat. Number 8, Paul Quimby's a class runner. He's just drawn out wide. I prefer him off a near rails draw. And then for 4th, number 3, Smooth Dynamite. 6, 5, 8 and 3. My numbers, Sandown Park Race 8.
He's on fire is the Bald Eagle. Nathan Rooney's with the green here in the 8th after what was a dramatic yet memorable Sandown Cup in the 7th, with Raiders Guide taking it out, an absolute superstar of the sport. Here's Dan Hibbard, Race 8, Sandown Cup 9.
$7 for Warm Hugs, who was 4th behind Smooth Dynamite in the heat. It's won 5 of 35 and 2 of 5 over this trip, and it is the 3rd pick in the market and the only other one under double figures. Thanks, Patch. Runners at the start, about to move in. Yeah, the Sandown Cup never fails to deliver on the headlines, and certainly their Raiders Guide, absolutely brilliant. But Mapunga surprise on the infield there soon after the start, and a bit of a freakish turn of events, but everything seemed a-okay there. But the stewards gave the all clear on the Cup. There were no issues, and the green light now on for race number 8. They're set to go. And away, beginning well on the inside was Poor Alexis, and there goes Warm Hugs with good speed. Warm Hugs sailed across and took the lead, and Poor Quimby got a lovely run across, is now up to 2nd. Poor Alexis, Big Duke gets through to 4th, then came Varsity Bale. Behind them was My Slick Rick, well back was Michaela Swift, and Smooth Dynamite's at the rear of the field. It is Warm Hugs, but Poor Quimby is right there. They are a mile in front of Varsity Bale and My Slick Rick around the turn. Warm Hugs holds off Poor Quimby for the moment, but won't give it in. Warm Hugs is kicking strongly though. Warm Hugs, a length and a quarter. 2nd, Poor Quimby. 3rd, Michaela Swift has rattled along the Dulux. Might get Varsity Bale on the line. My Slick Rick was next. Then Poor Alexis, Big Duke and Smooth Dynamite. And it's 34 and 42.
34 and 42 to Warm Hugs, Rooney, and the wide brigade there got across outside of our girl Michaela Swift, but she was a good run in defeat.
Yeah, she's most probably one to Black Book, Michaela Swift. She's really come from the cloud. She got shuffled back early, as we'll get to see on the replay, Jay. She's just haven't had a great deal of luck. She wanted to get down to the fence and just got plenty of buffering, while 7 and 8 got the fly across. Jeff Britton's train runner, Warm Hugs, utilised some really good early speed, put a nice little gap in, and Paul Quimby got the beautiful card across, and most probably looked the winner at the 595 boxes, but couldn't work out whether to go inside and outside, and lost momentum. A couple of weeks between runs, and just being a little bit underdone at the back end of the 595 was his undoing when he didn't take the right path approaching the 515 boxes in the home straight the final time. But full credit to Jeff Britton. Warm Hugs is a hard greyhound to catch on a punting perspective, because he's very hit or miss on box rise, but he was able to nail the start. 9.18, 34.43 overall. He was able to lead from go to O.
Pretty rare, Smithy, for the outside 3 runners to go 1, 2, 3 in a race on a bend start.
Yeah, the bend start generally favours those drawn towards the inside, and that was the query going into that race, wasn't it? We spoke a fair bit about Poor Quimby and how box 8 probably wasn't the ideal situation. He ends up getting himself into a really good spot, but all credit to the winner from Warm Hugs there. You touched on Nath, a little bit hard to follow, goes 1st, 5th, 4th. then first, then sixth, then fourth, then first. So maybe it's just every third run you got to back Warm Hugs. It's
You've got to work that out, Nathan.
That's a bit of a pattern that's coming together, isn't it? But yeah, my eyes were definitely drawn to Michaela Swift then, and it's a greyhound that I think you chuck it in your black book and you just put a little note that just rocketed home but wanted the inside draw. So might start again over the middle distance, may potentially step up to the 700. I think there's a big future ahead for her, particularly from an inside draw.
Yeah, well, I was on her on Saturday night and she led, and I was counting me pennies, and she was run down by Panama Road, who we get to see later on here tonight. So that was on that wet track at the Meadows in the best of the night on Saturday night. So she is going well. She just keeps finding one better or a way to get beat, no fault of her own. But her last 100 metres, patch of that race data, when that comes out will be really interesting to see, because her last section there was certainly eye-catching by eye, and it'll be interesting to see if the data backs that up, because she's certainly one to Black Book, and when Kayla Cottrell's got a runner, they always demand respect, but that was one to put in your Black Book, Michaela Swift.
Yep, indeed. That's race 8 on Sandown Cup night. Of course, the fireworks of the night are behind us, but still some reasonable racing to come here. We're going to take a break and be back soon with more here from Sandown Park.